How can creators like us, who are new to building online businesses, who have high value skill sets, how do we scale our monthly recurring revenue to get us the freedom we desire? That is the question, and this newsletter will give you the answers. Be sure to subscribe if these are the types of answers you seek. My name is Boise Gordon, and welcome to episode 18 of Boise Talks Business. Episode 18. My first day on the job, I cried in the bathroom. A discussion on how to make impact through vulnerability, plus sharing the story of my first sales job. All right, guys. So I'll just forewarn you now. The story is going to be at the end, but this one is a little bit longer. I'm not sure how long it'll be. I'm guessing 20 minutes. If I don't, take too long, letting you know that it's going to be long. All right. So we'll dig in. In the last episode, I discussed hiring and contracting talent. Just kind of setting the tone there. Most businesses, or at least most successful businesses, start out as a small team, 1, 2, 3 people, maybe 5 at max. But once they hit their stride, they're forced to expand rapidly. Like everything just happens. Boom, boom, boom. All this business comes flowing in. And it's impossible for the people who started with the business to be the only ones running the business. I mean, now it's a little easier with AI and automation, but there will come a point, no matter how much AI and automation you have, where you will have to outsource and expand and hire. So most people think that hiring and outsourcing is the solution to fix that problem, and it is, right? Like I said. But if done incorrectly, it can actually become a worse problem, right? So just a tip there, and what I explained in the last episode is make sure you get an idea of intangibles before finalizing the deal, whether it's with the client, whether it's a contractor, whether it's an employee, because you never really know who you're working with until you start working with them. So, if you want to hear more about that, definitely check out last episode. It was a fun talk. I actually ended up talking more than I wrote because it was super late and I was super drowsy, so it might be funny. I might have a lot of mistakes in there. So I apologize in advance. Today, I want to explore my favorite part of thought leadership and content marketing, and that's vulnerability. It is so often overlooked, right? Like people have egos. Most people have egos, especially successful people, or especially people that want success, right? They want to maintain a perfect outward appearance, but the only thing that's perfect is AI. The only thing that's going to be perfect for a long time is AI. So, do you want to be put in the same box as a computer? I wouldn't, especially not now. Especially, and this ruins your brand, because like when AI pretends to be human, or, people use AI to like make their content, it's flamed. People are like, yo, this is trash. And they just don't like, you know what I mean? So like, if you're trying to be perfect, you're just going to come off fake, and it's not going to work for your benefit. You might think you're building credibility, but you're not. The only way to build the credibility is to obviously give your highlights, but also share lowlights, right? So insert vulnerability. This is why being vulnerable is a requirement for personal branding success. It brings someone who might look up to you down to an eye level, right? Or brings you down, right? You're just like me. That's what people think. This gives people hope. Hope that even though they aren't as successful or don't have the same skills, they have the ability to get them, to achieve it, right? I mean, isn't that the whole reason why you're offering your service? To bring people closer to where you are, or bring people up to where you are, like arm them with the ability that you have, right? So like if you're trying to say like, oh, I'm this great person, I've never made mistakes, who's going to want to buy that? Like that, you're now setting the requirement that for a person to use your service, they have to be perfect. Already standard issue with all the necessary intangibles. No. You have to learn that stuff. You go through your lessons and your trials and your situations, and you come from them better than you got into them, right? You come out better than you left. And the vulnerability is pretty much just telling people about the bad part. That's it. Not hiding the bad part, telling them, volunteering the info, right? I leverage my vulnerability as proof of my transparency, proof of my humanity, proof of my growth. All these things build a level of trust with my audience that can't be stolen or replicated. No one can steal my vulnerability. It's my story, right? Like even if someone does try to steal it, it won't have the same oomph. It won't be me. My vulnerability shows people my uniqueness not just weaknesses, but my uniqueness. And I play on it regularly in my content. Almost every piece of content I write talks about where I came from, like a transition, like a transformation of some sort, right? Or like, me leveraging the fact that I'm new, or like, just not applying limitations to my ability. These stories are memorable and can leave a lasting impact on others, right? Like I told, obviously the headline is, me crying on the first job, but I told that story to comfort one of my clients. Not really comfort, but to get them, comfort, to get them comfortable selling, to get them comfortable with failure, to get them comfortable with rejection, to try and taper expectations and make it something that, you can laugh about later. So showing people that they don't have to be too serious about where they're currently at. You zoom out and it's just a fraction of your story. Right? So my client needed my vulnerability story. It was just day one of us working together. We were both excited to get started and make progress. So quickly began diagnosing her situation, trying to figure out where the bottlenecks were, what the issue was, and devised a strategy. Her biggest problem was traffic conversion. She had hundreds of people eyeing her work daily, but she never turned it into clients. Right? So I gave her a strategy to help with that. And it involved a dirty word: sales. Everybody hates sales. It's like, oh, you're sketchy. You're a sketchy man. You're lying to me. You're a seller. Yeah, people hate that word. I hate that word. I don't sell. I have conversations. But, that's just me. And so there was a hesitancy with that. Obviously, with the public, perception of sales, there was a hesitancy fully accepting certain parts of the process. She felt like she was manipulating, or like, didn't want to manipulate, didn't want to lie, didn't want to, come off as fake, right? She's a very authentic person. So I understand that, and I understood that. And I've gone both sides. I've done the whole sales pitch where I am losing a bit of myself and my soul each person I close. And I've done the opposite where I'm gaining fulfillment and gaining a piece of my soul every time I close, right? Like that's where I'm at now. It's like every person I close now adds a bit to my purpose, to my ability to fulfill what I'm here to do. So she especially hated the parts where she'd be on a call with the prospective client face to face. That was like the biggest thing, was just like the face to face interaction, like actually telling them the price, charging them for the service. Like that is a hard thing, because a lot of people, when it comes to money, they get really sensitive, and you don't want to upset anybody by talking about price. You don't want to make someone feel like you were just lying to them, and like everything you've done up to that point in terms of the relationship was a complete, lie. Like, oh yeah, I've been talking to you for months, but now I want to sell you something. It's like in your head, you think like, oh, if I sell them, they're going to be like, oh, you were just doing that whole month of convo to lead up to this. So to calm the nerves a bit, I told her my story about my first day on the job, just letting her know, what I had been through, and, how I got to the point where I am now. Right. So my first day on the job, I cried in the bathroom. Yes, this is true. Literally, I cried in the bathroom. I could see a little bit of shock come over her face when I told her this. And then it was followed by confusion. Like I could read her mind at that point. It was like, but you're so good at sales. I mean, you sold me. Like even throughout like the process of me having conversations with her and me on the sales call, like she was telling me like, oh, this is good. Like I need to take notes about the way I was selling, about the conversations we were having. Right. So I began to tell her the story. And I'll just read off what I wrote here, just because it's going to sound better than me making it up on the fly. I've always been an introvert, and sales was foreign to me. I never put myself out there like that. Obviously, when you're selling, you're telling people to buy from you. So there's like a personal connection between what you're selling and people's answer to buying it, right? But I wanted to do well on the job, so I started selling the best I could, or at least the best I knew how. It was like my first day. I'd never done it before. No after no, stare after stare, rejection after rejection. The little bit of confidence I had was snapped into a million pieces, trampled. And in fact, my pitch and my confidence got so bad that the people I was trying to sell to started to give me sales advice. Yes, it was that bad. You should speak more confidently. You need to smile more. Make sure you fix your posture. Like, dude, like just ignore me like everyone else. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was horrible. And I know they were trying to help, but all I heard was, you suck at this, man. Why'd you even pick this job? Maybe you should go back to school. Like I had dropped out of college to do this. I was doing horrible. So obviously, as you can imagine, I was frustrated. I was pissed. I was sad. I needed a moment. So I turned to my supervisor after that last one, and told him I had to go to the bathroom. And I'm sure he knew what I was about to do. He knew. I don't know if he knew. I was too focused on like I need to get to the bathroom right now to even look at his face for real. But I'm pretty sure he knew what I was about to do. Ah! Let out all the frustration. I was punching the air, like tears coming down my face. Like, just pissed. I almost slipped on the floor too. I was in dress shoes. Like if you've ever worn like dress shoes, like church shoes, that type of stuff. Like the floors in the bathroom, if they're a little wet, you're gonna slip a little bit. I almost fell. Why can't you get this? What is wrong with you? Like I just stared at myself in the mirror, just kept thinking that over and over again. And then I hear the door kind of creak open, like as someone was trying to, they were putting their back to the door, but they hadn't pushed all the way yet. And I quickly wipe my face. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't see me like this. Start washing my hands, throw some water on my face. And as I'm washing my hands, I look up in the mirror, and I look myself in the eye, and I'm like, you're about to kill this shit. That's what I'm thinking to myself. Like I didn't say obviously there's a dude in the bathroom now. I would have said it, but like I don't want to be that guy that's just talking to himself in the bathroom. And I have no clue what happened. I really don't know what happened. Maybe I just needed to get that frustration out. Maybe I just needed to punch air, get like pissed off or like cry and like, just let all of it go. But I flipped the switch. I walked out that bathroom with the swagger of a billionaire, and I never looked back. And I saw immediate improvement. Like the next day I closed my first sale. And then, within that week I closed my first 5. And that just kept scaling. Like that moment scaled me to where I'm at now. I went from selling cable in a grocery store to closing $1 million deals to running $1 million company. Like now I'm doing business consulting. That moment was like that stepping stone. So don't be afraid to share your moments of weakness. It doesn't show people that you're weak. In fact, it shows people how strong you are and how strong you've become. Admitting your imperfections over a loudspeaker is something only a secure person can do. If someone's but if someone's egotistical, right, or a narcissist, they're not going to say, hey, I made a mistake, guys. Hey, I sucked at this at first. They're going to be like, I was always good at this. I'm never wrong. Like, so, just think about who you want to be and the image you want to portray. Obviously don't share every single detail, right? Like there are certain things that should be left out of stories. You're modified in terms of just like keeping with your brand, but I'm building my brand on full transparency, coming from zero to scaling to whatever. And so it's not just scaling your business, it's scaling yourself. So that includes me starting from square one, talking about my rock bottom, talking about my mistakes. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys. It actually wasn't that long today. It was only 14 minutes-ish. So thanks for stopping by. If you need help leveraging your experience to add clients, just email waitlist@boysegordon.com. We can hop on a free strategy call and talk it over. If you're a good fit for my service, I'll definitely add you to the waitlist so that if I do open some slots for next month, I can get you in there. So cool. Oh, man. That was fun. I definitely need to start like recording these middle of the day when I have the most energy, because recording them at night is not it. Sorry for the last couple. Every time I add, or change my process or something, like I reach a milestone, like everything changes. And there's just a chaotic window of just like, I have no clue what order I'm supposed to do stuff. So just bear with me as I figure this out. I will have a more organized process in the future, but thanks so much for listening. Love you guys. And hope you enjoy the rest of your day.